Well, welcome to week 2. I'm so glad that you made it through the first week. That was probably the longest and hardest week for you. And it'll be getting a little bit more of a routine, a little easier after this. I'm going to go to screen share right away, and I will take you to our website. And here we are within the website. To get here, I clicked on modules, and then I clicked on the all-in-one schedule. And you can see that we're to week 2, and it shows the study guide for this week. So we'll take a quick look at that. All right, and let's see if we can maybe move this a little bit out of the way. All right, so the first part of the study guide looks the same on all of them. It gives you advice about how to use the study guide. There includes a couple of new definitions that are required under our course outline. If you ever want to look at the course outline for any class you're taking, all you have to do is go to the schedule, SRJC schedule for that semester, and then you click on the class that has a link that takes you to the course outline. So for this week, you'll be looking at Chapter 4, Native Nations in the Northeast, and it lists questions for you as you read the material to be able to, maybe gather this information and learn about these important facts. And as we get down here a little bit later, we get to know the Mohawks. And with the Mohawks, what we've done, instead of ask you questions or find little facts to make sure that you can search out, instead, this is the setup that we'll have for most of your study guides after week 5. It takes the parts of the chapter and it breaks it down for you. This is basically a graphic organizer to help you organize yourself when you're reading and to give you suggestions. So when you are in each subsection within the chapter, maybe it would be good to find 2 key facts about the contemporary Mohawks. In other words, what the Mohawk people are doing at this point in time. And then it goes in the chapter back into their more traditional ways of doing things in their culture. So their territory, economics, and so on, economies. These are the subsections within the chapter, and then suggests that you might look for 2 key facts. If you can't find 2, just because it's suggested, it's okay. 1's good, or if you find 3, it's just give you a rough idea of how important it is and how much there might be that you would want to be sure to know about. And that continues like that for this whole outline. And as it's explained in the top of the study guide, and also it's been explained in the last video, you can actually take a copy of this, use it as, put it in a Word document, and then as you're reading the book, you could put the facts in right in place. And then you've got a study guide that's much more detailed. Here are some questions for the video of this week. And that's the title of it right there. So when you watch this video, I would suggest you kind of review the questions first and then take notes as you go along. As usual, if you have any questions about any aspect of the class, please don't post them to your group, but instead send them to me in email. Let's take a look at your group for a minute. So I'm going about it in a way that's a little different than you would, and because you would be just clicking on groups and then going to a group. So I wanted to show you within groups, there's all these different features. I don't plan to give you an announcement by group. We have a bunch of groups in our class. That would be sort of awkward. Instead, all the announcements will be on the front page of our website, so you don't have to click on this. These buttons all have to do just with the group. So if I click on home, I don't go to the home page of our course. I'm on the home page of the group page, which is kind of an awkward way that Canvas does things. There are other learning platforms such as Blackboard that are a little easier to use, but all of the community colleges in California are using Canvas now. So this is what we have in here. And I don't have the ability, instructors cannot take things off of this menu. The only thing you need on this menu are the discussions. You don't need any of the other things. So please don't click on pages, people, files, blue button collaborations. Please don't use those features. It mentions that in the course materials, but in case you haven't seen it, I'm asking you just use discussions. So when you go to discussions, it's a little bit funny because it doesn't list them by week 1, week 2, week 3, which is what I would like to have happen. I've consulted with experts at 2 different universities, SRJC and another university, which is California State University, and the Canvas experts say, no, it's not possible to put these in any kind of order. So when you're looking for week 1 discussion last week, you had to scroll down and then click on this. You are going to go back to week 1 this week. So it says right here in week 2, which is what we're entering, please go back to the week 1 discussion and give a friendly reply to other people who have posted, because we did our introductions. Right now, you don't see any because no one has posted anything yet because the class isn't quite open yet. But when they do, then you can pick someone to reply to. We want to try to include everybody. So if you see someone there that hasn't had a reply, it would be nice for you to reply to them. Maybe to a couple of people, if you could, that'd be great. Going back to the discussions again, you can, this is called pinned discussions. If you want to put them in a certain order or something, you can, but that would be, you'd be the only one that sees that. If you do something within pinned, it doesn't show up for other students or for me as your professor. So after week 2, next week, you'll be looking for week 3, which is right here. And you would click on it. And when you probably already know this from week 1, but what you start off doing is you click a reply to me in week 1, and then in week 2, you reply to other people. You'll notice up here that it says 4 points are possible. That's because in our syllabus under grading, it shows that we have a total of 400 points for the class. And of those points, 56 of them are for the small group discussions. So by being on time and writing, an adequate amount of a message that makes sense, then it's basically pass fail. If you don't do it very well, I'll send you an email and say, hey, please go back and take another look. But I hardly ever need to do that because everybody does such a great job in our class. But you'll earn 4 points per discussion for the 15 weeks. Somehow we end up getting up to 56 points. Yeah. And as you can see, there are points also available for the mini project, the exams, and those are the 3 ways that you earn points. I'll go ahead and mention to you regarding the exams that we do not have a final exam in the traditional sense. So if you were to take my Anthropology 2 class, and by the way, I'm using the backspace because once you get into the group, you can't get back into the class unless you push backspace, backspace, backspace. If you were in the group, like here we are in group 1, and if I were to click this, it shows me the menu for group 1. It won't get out of group 1. And if I click home, it won't go home. It's just home for the group. And that's just how Canvas works. So if you want to get back, you either have to push the backspace until you see that you are on the home page, or you have to go back to your dashboard and click on the class and then re-enter it. Now, some of you may be wondering, where were we? What were we talking about? We were talking about the final exam. So I'm going to go back to the all-in-one schedule here. And if we go all the way to the bottom, in week 15, it says the final exam is not comprehensive. Comprehensive is like in my Anthro 2 class. It's where all the questions that you've had in all the quizzes could be on the final. I decided that we're not going to do that for this class. The information is so detailed. There are so many pages of the book. There's so much to learn that I don't think it would really be fair to wait 12, 13 weeks and then suddenly ask you about the Indians of the Northeast again, after you've already learned about the Native Americans and all the other parts of North America. And a lot of the things about the different cultures are very similar. So it's kind of hard to remember it all. And I felt like it would be more fair that we would have a quiz on a particular group. We don't really want you to forget everything about them, but you won't have to try to remember it all when you take the final. Instead, the final is just what's on this last study guide. And I know we're sort of jumping ahead, but there's a guy named Stephen Covey that talks about effective practices, and one of them is begin with the end in mind. So here's the end, week 15. I click on the study guide, and you'll see it's just about this one video. It's only a half hour long. So when everybody else in the college is going crazy studying for their finals, you'll just have these 4 questions to try to remember the information. And you can, of course, use your study guide when you take that last quiz. You may also use your books and other materials. But I do ask that you don't go on the web during a quiz or test. You're using the materials that you've created. All right, so we just to kind of repeat, the final exam is not comprehensive. It's only on this week 15 study guide. And to go back to where we started at the beginning of this little mini lecture, is that you're going to be learning in week 2 about the Native American nations of the Northeast. And one of those nations is the Mohawks. And another one is the Upamoks. And you're not going to have to learn about them because they're one of the chapters that are waived for you. So you don't end up studying chapter 6. When we go to next week, you'll come to that and learn more about that later, but you'll skip chapter 6 and we'll go to chapter 7 next time. Okay, well, I hope that was interesting for you. Again, if it was confusing, you're welcome to either read the transcript, or you can, which is, the closed captions, or you can watch the video again if you need to. And if you have any questions, remember, please don't post them to your groups. The only thing we're using in the groups is the discussion feature on the menu. Instead, send me an email. Thank you. Have a great week.